I don't know about you, but lately, life has been a grind. It's been overwhelming mentally, physically, and emotionally from my perspective. And I find these small little acts, such as making my bed, enjoying my protein oats, even just doing my hair or nails or something of the sort, those little acts bring me so much joy in the midst of everything going on in my life externally. It's so important to find and make time for those things. In the midst of all of the chaos, you can lean on those for that little bit of peace. I'm not gonna lie, my life has been quite a challenge and quite overwhelming over the past several months, and I just want to put it out there that I am so proud of myself for getting through it, for having such a positive outlook, even in those really tough times, just sticking it out on survival mode. And if you are going through anything similar where your life might seem overwhelming, I am proud of you as well. Tough times, they don't last, but tough people do. Speaking of tough people, I'm going to take you through my full entire pull day in this video, so let's jump right into it. Before hitting my strength workouts, I like to eat something so that I have energy and I get the most out of my lift. I usually like to have oatmeal with some protein powder, my protein oats. That is my go-to if I am training in the late morning. It's really simple, just a pack of oatmeal. I like the Quaker oats. And then I throw it in the microwave for 45 seconds to a minute, depending on the microwave. And then add a touch more water and then throw in my protein powder. It's so important to have some sort of carbohydrate before your workout. That way your muscles have adequate energy and they can perform optimally during your workout. Good morning, you guys. I am on my way to, guess where I'm going? The gym. So I'm going to be doing a pull day today, back in Biceps. I'm really excited for it. And I don't know, I might throw in a few leg movements. We'll see how I'm feeling. But yeah, it's a rainy-ish day out today. But it's actually a lot warmer. Like it's 7 degrees, which is major for here, because it was like -6 like a few days ago. I think it's honestly going to be back to the negatives on the weekend, but for now we're enjoying the weather. So yeah, just going to drive over and we'll go from there. I mean, I guess I should also tell you I'm back home, like my parents' place, because I got 2 weeks off because after exams, Mod 3 exams, I got 2 weeks off this year. And I'm just enjoying it. I'm actually having a little bit of a hard time winding down because I'm used to just going a mile a minute, but it's been nice. I feel like I'm doing my best at doing nothing, if that makes sense. Not really doing nothing, just taking care of myself, catching up on some hobbies, things like that. So yeah, let's make our way to the gym and get this workout. Alrighty, so welcome to the workout portion of this video. Welcome to my pull day, working back and biceps. So starting off with a warm-up, and in my strength days, I tend to focus my warm-ups more so around getting that mobility and range of motion into the joints that are going to be used, as well as activating the muscles that I'm going to be using as well. So starting off with some cat-cows to mobilize my spine and activate my core as well. It's also such a nice stretch for the core, honestly. Then going into some T-spine rotations. So here I'm really trying to move from my upper back, not from my lower back. And as you can see, I have very limited mobility here. I'm working on it. And then moving into a child's pose to open up my shoulders nice and quick. So next up, I'm mobilizing through my hips and hamstrings. Even if I'm not doing a leg day, I like to increase my range of motion here and get those muscles fired because mine are very tight and I find it's pretty restricting if I don't have my full range of motion in those joints. So now moving on to a pigeon stretch. I'm keeping these stretches quite quick and continuous because they're more so dynamic in nature. I tend to do more dynamic stretches at the beginning of my workouts and then static stretches near the end of my workouts, simply because static stretches tend to have more of an inhibitory effect, meaning they'll turn your muscles off. They'll allow them to completely relax, which is awesome. But I tend to want that effect at the end of my workouts, if that makes sense. Next up, I am moving into some controlled articular rotations, CARs. So for my shoulder joint, I'm trying to bring my arm, my shoulder, into its full range of motion throughout the entire movement. And same thing over here with my neck, bringing it through that full range of motion, trying to create space, trying to stretch my muscles, and this is completely controlled and it feels so good. I find it brings so much space into those joints. And you've probably heard it before, if you don't use it, you lose it. So the purpose of CARs for me a lot of the time is using ranges of motion that I wouldn't typically use from day-to-day life so that I can preserve that range of motion. So my goal is to every day do a controlled articular rotation in all joints of my body. Do I get to it every day? No, but the goal is there and I'm trying my best. So last part of my warm-up today is foam rolling through my T-spine to get my full range extension, and then also foam rolling through my lats and teres major, which you will see in the next few seconds. So in terms of when to foam roll, before or after a workout, research doesn't really say it necessarily helps with performance or helps in recovery, but there are no deleterious bad effects from foam rolling. Therefore, use it as you wish, as long as you are performing it safely. I like to foam roll sometimes, especially if a lot of my muscles are feeling tight. So I'd like to do it before, and then also it feels great after to release your muscles, especially on a leg day, releasing those quads, those adductors, the calves. So what I suggest here is do what works for you. Overarching point here is you could foam roll before a workout to prep and prime your muscles and bring blood flow to the muscles, or you can foam roll after a workout as a form of self-myofascial release to release those muscles worked, with the hopes of preventing the intensity of your delayed onset muscle soreness. All right, so moving into the workout portion of today's workout, we're going to be performing a total of 6 exercises. And the first one is going to be doing as many pull-ups as I can do, and then performing negative or eccentric pull-ups for the rest of that set. So right now I can do 2 unassisted pull-ups, which is a big win for me. Starting off literally just hanging, engaging my scaps, and then pulling myself up with my lats. And then what I'm doing is I put a bench right beside me for easy access, and I'm kicking up to the top of the movement and then controlling all the way down to the bottom. So the eccentric portion of a muscular contraction is where you get the most muscle damage, the most bang for your buck. Therefore, I'm prioritizing that portion of the muscle contraction so that I can get stronger as fast as I possibly can. When I started doing these, they were so difficult to control on the way down. With time, trust me, you'll get stronger. You'll be able to use your core a lot more to prevent any swinging. And overall, these are tremendously helpful, and I would say these are what made me get my first pull-up. Moving on to 4 sets of 8 to 10 neutral grip seated rows. So I'm using a lot more machines in this workout than I typically would, simply because I have access to them. And my school gym doesn't have all these fancy machines, so I thought, why not? So here I'm using a neutral grip, meaning my thumbs are facing up, they're neither pronated nor supinated, and it just biases different fibers of different muscles. So I like to change up the grips throughout my workout. And my cue here that I'm thinking of is bringing my elbows close together there at the back to feel the squeeze in my rhomboids. And then on the way out, nice and controlled in the eccentric portion and trying to feel that stretch at the end, range of motion. So for exercise number 3, we are moving on to a unilateral, meaning single arm, high row in a supinated grip. So supinated simply means my hand is facing up, just like I'm holding a bowl of soup. And this will actually target my biceps a little bit more. And the added benefit of performing this exercise one side at a time allows you to, 1, work on any muscular imbalances. So I'm starting with my weaker side, my left side, and setting the reps and the weight from there, then matching it on my right, as well as being allowed to focus on that mind to muscle connection just that little bit more. So when you're working one side, you don't need to worry about both sides contracting. You can really feel the squeeze on that one side. Okay, so this next exercise, this one was spicy. This was my first time ever doing this variation of a lat pull down with these 2 handle attachments. But oh my goodness, my arms and my back were shaking on the way up. I don't even know what it was, but it was absolutely amazing. The contraction felt great. And I was using more so a lighter weight here as my back was pretty fatigued by this point. So just pulling down, again, trying to get my elbows back and together and keeping it all in my back. I found that using these handles as opposed to one bar gave my shoulders a little bit more of a challenge for stability. To end off the workout, I ended with a bicep burnout superset. So in a superset, you're performing 2 exercises back to back with no rest. So I started off with 8 easy bar bicep curls with that supinated grip. Again, that means palm facing up. And then I moved into 8 hammer curls. So this is a neutral grip where your palm is facing inwards and your thumb is facing up. So in my supinated grip easy bar curls, I am using my biceps. They are at an optimal length tension relationship. Their primary action is actually supination. So when I'm holding them in that supinated position and then flexing my elbow, they are at that proper length tension relationship to be working and assisting with elbow flexion. Then when I do the hammer curls, this is when my biceps are not working as much. They are not at the proper length tension relationship. Here, I am more so using my brachialis muscle. This is a muscle that only crosses the forearm, and it will flex my elbow in all different positions. Since my biceps are at a disadvantage when my thumb is facing up in that neutral grip, the brachialis will take on more of the load. So I thought I'd add why the biceps are more active in a supinated position with our palm facing up. And this is because of their attachment site. So the biceps attach on the radius. It's a bone in the forearm closest to our thumb side. And because when supinated, the muscle is then stretched. And when that muscle is stretched, it has space to shorten. Now, when our thumb is facing up and we're more in a neutral position, our muscle isn't as stretched. The radius has slightly shifted relative to the shoulder, and it is more lax. Therefore, there's less power and less room to shorten. Alrighty, YouTube friends, we have made it to the cool down, the best part of the workout. Just joking, I enjoyed the whole thing. So just doing some nice static stretches here, lengthening through my lats. I'm going to shift over to one side to bias one side of my back and my lats, and then shift over to the other. And the purpose of my cool down is simply to relax my muscles by stretching them for an extended period of time, as well as decreasing my heart rate, and then also reflecting on the past hour, all that hard work I put in, and just congratulating myself, because at the end of the day, it wasn't an easy workout, but I did it, we showed up, and we need to be proud of that. So wonderful workout, to be quite honest. It was the first time where at this gym I didn't feel intimidated to just whip out my tripod and film literally every single exercise at whatever angles, actually multiple angles. I actually grew up going to this gym since I was it opened since I was 13 or something, 12 or 13. And yeah, it was a good workout. Happy to be there. And it's always nice seeing a few familiar faces, like some personal trainers and stuff that have literally been there as long as I have. So it was nice. The plan was to go right to Starbucks right now and do some things there, like read my book, journal, that kind of thing. But I forgot to bring my post-workout meal that I made. So I'm going to just run home, probably just eat lunch with my mom because she's working from home and she can just take her lunch at the same time. Then I'll walk over because why not? I actually prefer walking. I don't really like to drive. I mean, I'm grateful that I have a car to drive, but I do prefer to walk around, get in those steps and listen to a nice podcast or something. So we're going to do that later. All right, let's go back home. So you might be thinking, what are we trying to prioritize after our workout? And let me tell you, we are trying to prioritize protein to help in that muscle recovery. Protein is the foundation of our muscles, the building blocks, the amino acids that we need. And then also we need some carbohydrates. Why? Because we just used up all our carbohydrates. We used up that glycogen in our muscles, and now we need to replenish them, because we are taking care of our body. Basically, since I have 2 weeks off, I took the opportunity to throw on my coffin fake nails because I don't need to do any kind of palpating, anything with my hands that I usually have to do in school. So yeah, enjoy this little montage of my absolutely beautiful coffin nails. So the last little thing that I wanted to touch on is staying accountable to yourself. For example, if you make a plan to do something independently, whether it's to go to a coffee shop or whatever it might be, the most powerful feeling is sticking to that plan, following through, and doing it. Because a lot of the time with friends, it's so much easier, but when it comes to doing something on our own, it's so easy to back out. This afternoon, I went to Starbucks and I read and journaled, and it absolutely made my day. Trust me, this is your sign to enjoy your own company, do something for yourself. You will feel absolutely amazing. Spring has sprung and it's the season for self-growth. So that's going to be a wrap on today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you very soon in the next one.